Here we go. We're now getting into our next game, and my heart bleeds a little bit. It does bleed here because I have to watch my two kids fight amongst each other. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Babylon, we have the ex-CranKy Duckling himself, the American Terran player, currently teamless. It is Dolan. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Babylon, we have his opponents. We have the CranKy Duckling, hailing from the land of Brazil, the Red Zerg. It is Erik. And Erik has been on fire recently. He's amazing. He's beautiful. For those of you who haven't seen it, Erik did 2-0 Dark last week, and he 2-1'd Dark the week before. So 2 weeks in a row, Erik beat Dark. And the third week, unfortunately, ESL are going to deny us the Erik versus Dark rematch. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Exclamation mark Funada ESL for not allowing Erik and Dark to go toe-to-toe 3 weeks in a row. Ay, ay, ay. And we'll see how far he can go, because Erik, he doesn't just have amazing ZvZ. It was a couple of days ago, we were hosting our own tournament, the Tenacious Turtle Tussle. Erik did just annihilate Trigger 3-1 in a ZvP Best of 5 Grand Finals. So Erik literally taking down one of the top 3 Protoss players in America. Top 2 actually, because Neeb retired. So Erik doing really well in the ZvZ, doing really well against Protoss as well. But what about Terran? Because we did interview Erik after he won the tournament a couple of days ago. We did interview him, and he was talking about how he was really struggling to find himself in this matchup, because he can play macro, he can play standard, but when it comes to the super late game ZvT, it's not really enjoyable for him playing against Mass Ghost. It's a really slow style, it's a very dull style, and it's not something that Erik enjoys to play. So because of that, he's still struggling to figure out if he wants to be aggressive or not, if he wants to try and be all in or not in this matchup. And we can see, mate, we know what he wants to do right now. As it was a 15 hatch from Erik, we do have Ling Speed on the way. We didn't pull out of gas, and there's that Roach Warren. Excuse me? No, Dolan! As I was looking at this Roach Warren, he did lose his Reaper in the middle of the map with the death of that Reaper. Dolan is in the dark. He doesn't know that an all-in is coming. Not just an all-in, we have Burrow as well. Oh my god. And Burrow is going to add a really interesting dynamic to this matchup and to this, you know, unit interaction. For those wondering, it's kind of it's as if these roaches are going to have blink in a way. They're not going to blink away, they're going to burrow underground. They'll be able to regenerate their HP, and we're going to be able to conserve that roach count that much longer in the middle of a fight. It's going to get really wild. On top of that, we can also, like, you know, burrow under the CC if we do force it to be lifted, which would be really annoying. And here we go. The Roach Warren is now done. Erik is going to be saturating his 2 bases, is going to be looking to take a third, but not before he moves out with his roaches. And there's not much here to defend. It was a 3cc 1-1-1 opening. Oh my god, it's a BC opening from Dolan! And as amazing as that is, that means there's no Banshee to defend. No Banshee, no tank, and no nothing. Only Hellions. And Hellions, they don't do so well against roaches. Ooh, the boys are going to have to be pulled here to help deal with this. No, the natural is evacuated. Hellions going to micro this back, and the roaches, they do pull towards that natural base. Going to be looking to force it to be lifted. Oh, again, not too many roaches, only 3 roaches. Erik is droning, saturating his bases behind this. Oh, there we go. Burrow has been revealed here. One of the roaches does burrow. Second roach will burrow as well. I love how we're avoiding. Oh, he's targeting his own CC. Can he get the roaches? Oh, Hellions, they tickle roaches, man. It takes so long. They will eventually get 1 roach, but only 1. Oh, can we get the second? Right, there we go. We have a scan as well. Finally, the additional roaches are going to go down. But hey, we forced a scan. Already well worth it here. Oh, I'm going to force another scan as well. Jesus. One roach remaining. Meanwhile, Dolan has something else in store for Erik. Oh, as Dolan is trying to deal with this roach, but he's missing. Ah, there we go. Meanwhile, looking at the vision, Erik sees the 111. He sees the tech lab on the starport. He sees that Cloak is not researching, so Erik can piece together that this is going to be BC's. Spores are on the way, but we need more queens. As the Overlord is going to go past the production. And hopefully we recognize what is going on. Here we go, as the BC does reveal itself. Queens are started immediately for Erik. As we have that scan, and there we go. Finally, that one last roach is going to be going down. We're going to be teleporting across the map. Going to be teleporting across the map, and the BC is going to be looking to get into that mineral line. The queens are in position, but the target fire is real. 3 drones, 4 drones going down. Oh, but the queens are quick to dive on this. Is it going to be able to escape? Up, up. Oh. Oh my god, the queen's coming in for a flank. The BC does barely manage to get away. Thankfully. Meanwhile, Erik, with that Overseer scout, he also saw the additional Raxes, so he knows it's not BC into mech, it's going to be BC into bio instead. Burrowed Ling underneath this CC. Oh my god. The burrow, it's so annoying. Is going to be forcing another scan. Before that happens, the roaches have arrived. I believe Sim is done, so not the best trade here for Erik. He'll be forcing another scan. There we go. Scan is used to clean these up. Do we have another scan for the CC though? Erik actually rallying his army across town. He has to be very careful here. Going to be forcing another scan. Yeah, another scan used to clean up the roach. We need the scans here, Poppy. Ah! Oh god, a turret is on the way. Behind this, we actually have mutas from Erik. I mean, he has recognized that only a singular BC will be made, so he knows he has the freedom to produce mutas. Have our 1-1 upgrades. Lingbane muta, you love to see it. Finally, the CC will be taken. Oh. Beautiful, puppy, beautiful. And Dolan can finally get into his own game. The CC being saturated as we speak. Tanks getting into position. 1-1 finishing up for the bio. Oh, the mutas almost get caught out actually as they slip into the main. The main, which is very exposed. Dolan unfortunately not quite able to keep up in time. BC does teleport in. But the mutas still find a couple of workers here and there. They do get an SCV. Oh god. Oh my god. 1 SCV for the price of a muta. Not what we want to be seeing. Thankfully, Erik didn't overinvest into the mutas. Looking at the units tab here, we only made 6 mutas in total. Enough to one-shot SCVs. Oh. They just get transfused and they can move out immediately. Meanwhile, we have our melee upgrades on the way. We have an infestation bit as well. Erik going Ling Bane into Hive. Not quite Ling Bane muta. Erik is even taking all of his gases, which is really interesting. This tells us that he wants to be pretty tech heavy. I do feel like this is pretty unnecessary, and there we go. We see why. It's going Lingbane Infester. Does he have pathogen glands? He doesn't even have pathogen glands. Interesting. Okay. Muta's going to dip into the main base once again. Going to force a pretty big reaction out of Dolan. Oh, the SCVs are forced out of the mineral line, and a couple of them are going to get picked off. I say a couple more actually. Jesus. 6, 7 SCVs. Erik gonna slip behind the natural base. At the same time, we have a scan. The main army composition has been confirmed by Dolan. Also confirms that the army is, for the time being, back at home. I think he got a glimpse of that infestor. It is a bit hard to tell. See how well he can do as the mutas are diving back in. No, the turrets are a little bit too late. The mutas are going to find a little bit more damage here at the natural. At the same time, Dolan moving out with a bit of a drop, but the army of Erik was waiting for him. And I feel like Erik could have done a little bit more damage there, but regardless, you know, he did enough to make these mutas worth their pay for themselves in a way. Ultra cabin being thrown down, Vipers being produced. Bling, Bane, Infestor, Viper. Erik actually has a pretty massive army here on the right hand side. Maybe anticipating a drop. Does have to be careful. Dolan slowly expanding, taking a fifth. We'll see how he does. Erik setting up a massive run by here. He's rolling on into that mineral line. The Banelings, they're gonna get it. And no reaction. Dolan late to pull the boys. The entire mineral line goes down. The tank as well. Ugh. Almost getting the CC actually. And he burrows. He burrows, Pop. Do we have a scan? We do. Thankfully, we do have a scan available. Erik gonna back off, and with that free supply is going into ultras. Is he set up for this? No kindness plating, no ultra speed. Oh boy, this is gonna be a scary push. And those ultras, they take some time to produce. Oh boy, here we go. We do have infestors ready for this. At the same time, roaches do go for a big counterattack, but Dolan, he doesn't care. He's pushing in. Oh my god. The Banelings find some detonations there. They do connect with the majority of those Marines, but there's still a lot where that came from. Dolan is going to keep on pushing forward. The BC does focus down the Viper. Another fungal! Oh, the fungal locks down the bio, and the ultras can get on top of the tanks. That's a lot of tanks, but it's only tanks. There's nothing else to support them. Tanks on their own are a sad thing. GG gets called, and Erik takes game number 1. Ooh. Oh my god. Ay, ay, ay. GG. With the surround, with the fungals, Papi, with the fungals. Something you don't see too often. And again, I'm sure Dolan was just not really expecting to be running into infestors like that. A pretty shaky opener. The BC, again, didn't do too much damage either. It got 3 drones, if you remember. It got, I think, 3 or 4 workers. And that is it. Wasn't able to get too much else. We saw Dolan struggling to expand and take his 3rd and take his 4th. By the time he did, Erik had map control, was going for all these run-bys, and already had a pretty tech-intensive army. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. Un momento, Papi. Un momento. I'm waiting for the scene to switch. There we go. Okay. I'm just opening the door, letting the air in. Opening up myself to the world. And now we're going to be getting into game number 2. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Gresvan, we have the American Terran player. One of my very own. Once a duckling, always a duckling, and he was always a duck. It's the Danger Dolan himself. It's the American Terran, Dolan. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gresvan, we have his opponent, oh my god, going for a 13-12 in a ZvT, because it's just what he does. He's crazy. The Brazilian Zerg, currently representing the CranKy Ducklings, always representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Erik. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. One of the few Zerg players out there that is willing to 13-12 a Terran. And what does this mean? This means that he's gonna pull out a gas at 100 and he's gonna drone. He's crazy like that. He's crazy. Is banking up that larva though to make Lings as soon as Ling's speed is done. No, just droning. This is what I mean. He's crazy. 1312 pulls out of gas as soon as he gets 100. Look at that. Look at that 0 gas in the bank. Oh, crisp pull out, Bobby. Crisp. He's learning from my mistakes. No, not even a fast queen either. Just Ling speed, and we're going for an expansion. And what does this do? This just gives you some map control. Erik is going to have very fast Ling speed, so he can deal with the initial Reaper and rush across the map and maybe even delay the CC. Here we go. 6 Lings now on the way. Once Erik has droned up a little bit. And this is confirmed by Dolan. Dolan sees how late this hatchery is. But the thing is, because this opener is so weird, and because we very rarely see 1312s, Dolan probably thinks this is a 12 pool. The Lings are on the way. They shoo away this SCV. And the goal here is for Erik to lure Dolan into a false sense of security and to dive on top of this Reaper. Again, Ling's speed will catch him by surprise, or it should catch him by surprise. Here we go, even the Marine being pulled out of position here to chase down this Overlord. Ling speed has kicked in and Erik is going to be diving on in. He does get the first Marine. Now the Reaper immediately backs the hell off. He goes into the main. Oh no! At least he should. The boys are being pulled. The second Marine goes down. SCV building. The CC also gets taken out. The damage has been done. Erik looking to maybe even get on top of that Reaper. Behind this is just droning back at home. Is just chilling. I see the shot. Erik is an artist. Oh, he's beautiful, Poppy. Beautiful. But yeah, with this, Dolan is going for a standard 1-1-1 opening. I think this is a wise choice. I think against Erik, you need to 1-1-1. I think 3cc builds are maybe what Erik wants you to do. With this, we're gonna have access to much earlier Banshees, which will be great against the oncoming roaches, as a roach horn is thrown down. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. And actually, we're not seeing Banshees. We have a tech lab on the way, but there is no add-on swap. We're going for a Liberator instead. Bold choice by Dolan. I mean, Liberators can be used defensively. We do see that Roach Warren is now done. Burrow on the way, just like the last game. Erik wants to start off with Roaches, wants to counterattack and be very annoying with Burrow. Again, I don't really see this build too often, but I do know that forcing those scans does make it worth it. Meanwhile, Dolan, he's going for a Hellbat push. Armory is on the way. Hellbats against Roach. Dolan hasn't seen anything against Roaches. This is not the build, Papi. Aye. Hellbats are not the ideal unit. Thankfully, Erik is only making a handful of Roaches. He's making drones behind this, so he's going to have to react quite quickly to what he sees, as the Roaches are going to be marching across the map. The wall is a wall. We have a third CC on the way. And because of this, because of the abundance of Hellions, these Roaches are going to have a hard time dealing damage, to be honest. Oh no, Erik! There we go. He does reposition his Roach. Is going to be forcing a scan here to defend. Oh, one more Hellion going down. I love this. Erik is intentionally spreading out his Roaches. They unburrow. They take down another Hellion. Oh, a bit late on that second burrow though. But regardless, this is keeping these Hellions tied up back at home. The armory hasn't been able to come into play. The Hellions, the Hellbat push is not a thing. Oh my god. Is he going to get another Hellion? He is. Oh, the repositioning. Oh, you love to see it. Oh, the counterplay. Trying to make sure that the splash damage doesn't hit that borrowed Roach. It looks like... Ooh, there we go. Another Roach is going to be going down. We have a Raven as well for detection. And Dolan is playing mech. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. Dolan more than willing to play mech against Zerg, unfortunately. But the mass amount of Hellions and the reinforcing Hellions has been confirmed, and Erik does have roaches on the way. He should be aware of the mech. He wasn't able to get back into the main base. We actually have a Thor follow-up here. Oh my god. Hellion Thor. Are we going to see some medevacs? Yo, that's cool! Mate, Dolan, he's been watching a bit of Quanta. He's going for a Thor drop. Wow. Okay, so there's pros and cons to this. One, this is eating into tank production. You know, we have Hellions, which is a pretty flimsy army, and there's no backbone to the army. There's, oh god, we have another borrowed link here. Jesus. But there is no backbone. There's no cyclones. There's no tanks, right? So because of that, Dolan is vulnerable to a counterattack. Instead, he is banking everything into his own harassment. The Thor drop can kill queens. Oh, it's being scattered. No, it got scattered by the links. The Thor drop can kill queens. It can kill roaches. It can pick apart bases. But again, it does mean that you have a lot less to defend back at home, which makes Dolan quite vulnerable here if this Thor drop doesn't do damage. Your spines are on the way. The Thors are making their way into the main base. Erik, his Lings saw the Thors, but did he see the Thors? That is the question. Roaches are going to be going for that counterattack, and there's nothing here to defend. The Hellions are across the map. They turn back around. Thors do drop into the main base. They're going to be able to take down some Overlords and some Workers. But the Roaches are in. Ooh. The Roaches have arrived back at home. They're going to be able to fend off these Thors. Meanwhile, across the map, they're getting a lot of SCV damage. They even force auto turrets from the Raven. Oh. At the same time, oh no! We're lining up Buffy, and 16 drones go down in the blink of an eye. They line up. They get completely roasted. Oof. Erik just wasn't quite looking at his natural in time. The Thors, they drop in towards the third. Erik's economy is struggling right now. He is struggling to hold on, down to 48 drones. And against mech, that is a terrifying prospect. Dolan's not stopping. He's sending more Hellions across the map as well. Hoping to catch Erik distracted. He's going straight into the mineral line again. Into the natural. Oh, he goes for the scan. The line's up. 4 more roaches. Sorry, 4 more drones go down. And Erik is going to have a hard time recovering, especially because Erik thrives on counterattacks. He thrives on creating chaos in this matchup, in every matchup. But Mech says no to that. Now that we have a good tank count, what's Erik going to do here? Like, Dolan is just going to turtle up. He's going to pitch his tent, put on his helmet, and we're not moving. We're not going to be moving for quite some time. This is going to allow Erik to re-drone, but again, it means that Erik's like harassing, aggressive style. It's gonna have a hard time finding damage. Oh boy. Erik has to dance to the music of Dolan, and we'll see if he can. I mean, he's resaturating. He's up to 75 workers already. Going to be taking his gases. We have a Hive and a Hydra Den on the way. Interesting choice. We're going to be going a Roach Hydra Viper, which isn't a bad composition, but a very unusual and unorthodox composition. It relies so much on your Vipers doing damage, and remember how I said that Dolan was going to be pitching his tent? Well, he was, but now he's putting the tent down. He's moving out across the map with a massive, bulking, hulking army. Busting, but it's so thick. There's tanks, there's Thors, there's medevacs, there's Hellbat drops as well. This is revealed to Erik, and Erik is preparing himself for this. Oh boy, an anti-armor missile in the army as well. Erik is going to try and bile down what he can, but he has to back the hell up. Does lose a chunk of his Ravagers in the retreat. Dolan having quite a scary army here. He's going to be expanding, taking a 4th base behind this. So going to try to. Erik dives in. Connects with some of these biles, but he's losing so many Ravagers. I don't think that was quite worth it.
He's trying to get on top of this. He's trying to connect with those biles, and he will. Does get one more tank.
but at the cost of every single Ravager. And Dolan has broken on through. Erik just trading a little bit too inefficiently there in those last couple of fights. Ling's going to trickle in, and he will get another Thor. Oh, the boys have to be pulled, but pulling the boys against... Oh, no, not against the Hellbats. Not against the Hellions, Papi. As again, mech can be a difficult thing to deal with, and Dolan is looking to fight back in this series. The Roaches dive on in, but the Hellbats get dropped on them as well. They try to borrow, but we have plenty of detection. GG gets called, and Dolan fights back in this series. We're going to the ace match. Ooh, let's go, Papi. Let's go. Yo, shout out to Werehug for the verified first quacker. Oh, quack, Papi, quack. And yeah, Erik causing a lot of chaos in the beginning there, but I feel like a lot of it did come down to that Hellion counterattack, and combined with the Thor drop. If you remember, the Thor drop was really just distracting Erik, but the Hellion run by killing 16, I think 20 drones in total. Well, 16 initially, and then another 4 drones on top of that. It was insane, absolutely insane. So much damage was done. Erik was slowed down, and now we have an ace match. We're going all the way to game number 3, and which way is this going to go? I'm torn. I've got a soft spot in my heart for both of these players. I want them both to do well, but there can only be one victor here. Who's it going to be? Who is it going to be? As the ace match is going to be taking place on Neo Humanity. Ay. See Asher in the chat. He's hurting him, Papi. Make him stop. And here we go. We're getting into game 3 and spawning. I should update that. There we go. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have the American Terran player. The Duckling himself. An ex-Duckling, but also still a Duckling in his own way. It is the American Terran, Dolan. The Danger Dolan, Bobby. The Danger Dolan. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have his opponent. We have the Brazilian Zerg representing the CranKy Ducklings. This time, not going for a 12 pool or a 13-12. It is Erik. Here we go, Papi. Here we go. Erik going for a hatch first. He's crazy. He's lost his mind, Papi. He has lost his mind. Playing standard, going for a hatch gas pool. Not even an extractor trick. Erik has been humbled. He's like, you know what? I'll play standard, Papi. I'll play standard. This crazy nonsense against a Terran player that's willing to play mech? No, mate. I'm not again, Papi. Not again. But I do kind of like this in a series because Erik has been so aggressive with his openers these past couple of games. He's maybe getting in Dolan's head a little bit, and because of that, yeah, I wonder if Dolan is going to be opening up really safely, or if he's going to be able to react to what he's seeing and then, you know, respond in kind. As he is going for an SCV scout, at least. The SCV is rushing across the map, going to be confirming the hatch retiming here, and Dolan going to be maybe happy, maybe uncomfortable. He's like, oh, Erik's playing standard? Oh, that's not good. I don't know. No, it doesn't. It just doesn't feel right, Papi. It doesn't feel right, and it's not the most standard play. Just like Dark, actually, Erik is going to be opening up with double queen and six lings. Sorry. Meanwhile, we already see Erik working on that mineral wall as well. Interesting. So the wall is being worked on. Erik is looking to take that linear third base. Dolan does take note of that and is going to try and be a little bit annoying, but he is unable to pick off any of these drones. As Dolan is going for a 3cc opener. Very economic. You'll have to see it. Is going to work quite well here against the hatch gas pool of Erik. Oh. Here we go. Lings are going to be flooding across the map as we speak. Going to be just be ignoring this Reaper. What do we have at home to defend? We have one Marine. Uh-oh. We have one Marine here at home to defend. We have the Reaper across the map. These Lings are going to find some damage. One SCV already going to be going down. Lost mine time as well. Oof. Erik not going to take this line down as he actually catches more SCVs. Oh, or will he? Yeah, he will. 3 SCVs in total go down. Ling speed kicks in. We can dive on top of the Marine, and that's exactly what we do. Marine does go down. Can we get a 4th SCV? Oh, okay. A Marine and 3 SCVs for 1 Ling. Only a single Ling went down. Well worth it here for Erik. Meanwhile, Dolan is going back to his old tricks, just like game 1. 3cc, 111, not Banshee, BC. Erik is diving in for a scout, and he's going to see a couple of things. He's going to see the 111. He's going to see no add-on swap, which is a tell. He sees the tech lab being produced on the starport, which is also a tell. Without seeing this BC, this fusion core, Erik should recognize what's happening. Meanwhile, the Lings do get into the natural base, and oh, the Hellion goes down. Only a single Hellion. Meanwhile, the Overlord does get confirmation that the fusion core is finishing on up, and Dolan is making battle cruisers. I'm curious what the follow-up is going to be, because in game 1, Dolan went BC into Bio, if you remember. Game 2, he went straight up mech. Game 3, BC into mech, it does kind of lend itself well to it, and I do think there is a lot of reasoning as to why Dolan would want to go for that. Before that happens, the Hellions, oh my god, they're bypassing the Queens! Ooh, they're looking for an opening, almost find their way into the natural. But we have continued Hellion production here. There's the 2nd and the 3rd factory. It is going to be BC into mech overall. After all, that's it. After all. And Erik is going to have to prepare for this. We have spores on the way. We have a lair as well. Roach Warren being thrown down. So we have the tech required, even a Spire on the way. But does Erik have the execution as, oh my god, for a moment there, Yamato did begin. Is that spotted? Yamato was started and then cancelled. Oh boys, the first BC is teleporting across the map. We're going to be focusing down as many of these drones as possible. 1 already going to go down. 2. Can we get 3? Can we get 4? We will get 4, 5. Ooh, rough hold position here on these workers. They weren't pulled away enough. Oh my god. 10 drones going down and the BC survives. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. It looked like Erik was intentionally giving Dolan drone targets so that the Queen would survive and Dolan would target fire the drones in hopes of maybe luring the BC in and killing it. But alas, the BC survived and Erik lost 10 workers, which makes this BC already more than worth it. Now he's going to find some Overlords. So a shaky start for Erik. Shaky start. You see the forward base is going to be taken here. Hellions on the way behind this. Going to be looking for another run by whenever they can. Blue Flame is not quite done yet. It's actually not even started. We're going straight up Hellion into tank. A much more standard mech setup. No Thor drop this time. And we'll see how things settle down in the end. I mean, again, Dolan just looking to ramp up with his tank production with his BCs. Erik likewise meeting up with his Queens pushing forward with Corruptors on the way. So we have plenty to do with the BC. The BC isn't really going to be an issue anymore. but Erik, I don't think he realizes how committed this is gonna be. Oh, he sees the fusion core researching. He knows. There we go. 6 more corruptors are on the way. He knows he has to commit a little bit more to the corruptor production because Dolan is continuing BC production. Here we go, the corruptors, they're waiting for the opportune moment. They do dive on top of the BC. Yamato did just finish up, but no Yamato available at the same time. Hellions do go for a run by. They run past the roaches. Oh, but they don't get in. Only 2 drones going down. This time a much better defense for Erik. He's able to keep up. He's actually looking to go for a bit of a counterattack. Bold move, Erik. Bold move. I mean, hey, the turrets are... Oh, there is going to be 1 turret available. The corruptor is going to try and dive on in. This is an overextension. Oh! He does barely get 1 BC. 1 BC for 3 corruptors. Oh, okay. A good trade. Good trade here for Erik. Just before the additional 2nd and 3rd missile turret to finish. Ooh. And Erik is looking for another way in. Tanks sieging on up though. Dolan, we saw this before. Well, this is to the extreme. We have a wall. We have mech. We have a turtling Terran. My god. We cannot push it. We cannot break this. There's no way. There's actually no way to break this without Vipers, at least. But Erik, that's okay. We don't need to break this. Denying the 4th is all we really need to do here. We have to wait for the moment when Dolan exposes himself, and then Erik can take advantage of that. Until that time, we're going to be clearing up all these rocks. Taking down everything we can. Setting up defensively. BCs are going for a bit of a run by. They're going to finally actually catch one of these hatcheries. Oh, that's a kill, not a cancel. Corruptors are on the way. They are on route. Erik double expanding. Oh, ooh, another BC goes down. Dolan a little bit too greedy going for the Yamato before the teleport. Will lose 1. As we have a 5th and 6th hatchery on the way. Erik may have lost 1, but hey, he got a BC. Kind of makes it worth it. We have the 4th base. Dolan has exposed himself. There are no tanks to support this army, and this is what Erik was waiting for. Oh, the CC! CC is going to go down. They're onto the SCVs as well. They come in a little bit prematurely. The Lings are waiting for them, and the entire mineral line is going to go down. Ay, ay, ay. Dolan with the premature Maynard. Again, you were wondering, hey, can Erik break the natural in the 3rd? Nope. But he can break the 4th. The 4th is where he takes an amazing fight. 21 SCVs falling, as well as a decent chunk of that mech. Meanwhile, I love that Erik knocked down the towers himself. He has the map control. He knocks them down so we can make sure that they're not used against him as he takes down every single rock on this map. Get him out of here. Oh, do you see the Hellion Cyclone pushing on forward here, threatening those queens? With that lockout, it looks like maybe 1 queen goes down. No transfuses will keep them alive. Tanks going to be sieging up, and this is now turning into a pretty heavily fortified position. The tanks have repositioned. My god. 9 tanks here on the front lines. That does mean that this left-hand base is actually pretty exposed. There's nothing here, and Erik recognizes that. Wow. He sees the tank line. He's like, mate, you don't have anything at home. He pushes on in, and he's getting into that 3rd base. The Roach Ravager is going to be buying time. Meanwhile, he has a Roach hit squad in that mineral line. His Roaches will get cleaned up, but hey, Erik is maxed out. He can afford to lose some Roaches. Is going to be replacing them with Lings, with Banes. That's 7 SCVs go down. Dolan going for a couple of scans to try and figure out what's going on. He sees the Greater Spiral on the way. He sees the Vipers. He confirms the Hive. He knows he's going to need something else here. He's going to need to get into Thor production or Ghosts or both. He needs an answer to those Broodlords. Meanwhile, the wall is not a wall. The Lings, oh, they get on in. They actually focus down the sensor tower, and they will get it. My god. once again forcing Dolan to turn around, but Dolan himself has now maxed out. It's his turn to move out across the map, and on Neo Humanity, wait, there's not that much room to traverse. Oh boy. It doesn't take long to counterattack here on this map. We do see Erik trying to remax on Ling, Bane, Ravager Viper. He's going to be diving on in. Show me the blinding clouds. And there we go. Almost every single tank gets covered, but we don't have enough Lings to dive on this. Corruptors are going to be able to clean up everything in the skies. The Ravagers, though, are also all going to go down. Again, we needed Broodlords being morphed in the face of Dolan. And this is going to force him back. Wow. But we needed more Lings for Erik. He lost so much there in that fight. We go for some caustic sprays. We're going to be denying the 5th, the 6th, and the 4th. Oh my god. How does this happen? And it looks like the CCs are going to go down. Ooh, the CC will go down at the same time. The Roach Ravager hitting the left-hand base as well. The third is under threat once again. Dolan's economy is in shambles. The Broodlord is just not giving him any room to breathe. We do have Thors though. Thors and Vikings. So Erik has to be careful not to overextend with these Broodlords. The Thors are still not here though. The Vikings are going down one after the other. Oh my god, and there it is. GG gets called. The Thors get caught out by the Roaches, and Erik will take the series 2-1. Oh, GG. GG, well played. Erik just again recognizing the moments that Dolan was the most vulnerable, denying that 4th base, waiting for the push to come across the map and preparing so well, knocking down every single one of those rocks. And what a beautiful Broodlord timing as well. Just whenever he could, he was just finding that damage, going for the Roach run-bys, going for the Ling run-bys, the caustic spray, all over it. GG. GG. I think the most impressive part to me is that he did that on Neo Humanity, one of the maps that is known to be a little bit more defensive. There isn't that much, it doesn't take that long to rotate between the bases as the defending player, and yeah, Erik was somehow able to find holes in the armor anyway. Holes in Dolan's armor. GG. And with that, congratulations to Erik as he moves on to the next round. My condolences, my commiserations to Dolan. I've got a lot of love for Dolan. A lot of love. Like, he's a really great guy. Like, he's really, like, wholesome and really humble as well. He's not like all these other arrogant Terrans. he's not like that at all. So, yeah, I do wish him the best. Unfortunately, he does get knocked out of this ESL tournament. But I do also know that Dolan was streaming his POV, and I hope he has a good stream. I hope if he does decide to ladder after this, hope he has a good time. And yeah, wish the best of luck to Dolan in his endeavors overall, as he's actually been streaming a lot more frequently nowadays. A lot more frequently. Meanwhile, Erik, his tournament run will continue. He does take it in the end, and we have a big name, a very big name waiting for him, and I'm excited. Obviously, this player is the favorite. When I say this player, I don't mean Erik. I'd love to say Erik, but Erik is still has to prove himself in this matchup. He did a couple of days ago. Erik 2-0'd Nice. He 3-1'd Trigger, but now he's up against a Korean. Now he's up against one of the best Protoss players in all of Korea. He is up against Creator.